All right.
Cool. Well, I'm here with Demi McConkie, the soul purpose guru. How are you doing today?
I'm great, Lucas. How are you?
Doing awesome. To start off, please give my users all like your definition of like a soul purpose and what that is.
Yeah. First thing I like to say about defining soul purpose is sort of this nebulous concept. And I really do believe we can come up with whatever definition we want that to be.
Okay.
It can be anything. But I do think if we want to get clear on what our soul purpose is and what we want to do with it and how to use it to our benefit and our behalf, then we need to give it some type of a definition so we can give some context to it so that we can produce the clarity. If we don't, it stays nebulous. And one of the things that I often say about soul purpose is soul purpose can either be your path to destruction and bankruptcy. And I've seen that happen with so many people following this and following their passion all the way to bankruptcy. Or
Mm-hmm.
your quickest way to economic independence and a most fulfilled life, right? And so the difference is, do you have the clarity around that and the ability to focus it and align it with best business and best financial practices? And
Fair
in order
enough.
to do that, you do need to give it some type of a definition. I'll offer you the one I like to use. You don't necessarily have to use that one, but it has to be something that you can define, that you can create some context around so you can create structure.
Perfect.
So the definition that I like to use for soul purpose is, soul purpose is, I when I work with clients, I help people get clear in two parts: soul and purpose. And the soul part of soul purpose is all about being clear on who you really are.
Mm-hmm.
And by clear, I mean that it's concrete. You can write it down. It's in black and white. You can clearly articulate it to yourself and others in a way that creates certainty and conviction in all of
Mm-hmm.
your choices and in your communication. Okay, so that's the soul is all about who you really are, what's most important and meaningful to you, and what you stand for and why. Right?
Awesome.
And that needs to be clearly, firm on that. Yes, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
The purpose part is all about what you do, how you take action, how you create value in the world as a demonstration of who you are, what's important to you, and what you stand for. Right?
Okay.
So it might be really important to you to be a great and loving mother and financially successful. And so it's, what are you doing with that? How are you taking action? How are you being in the world with that? That's the purpose part, right? And the way that I help people be really clear on that is creating a really clear soul purpose vision. What is the vision of where you're going? And then documenting that path there with a really clear soul purpose goals and a really clear life plan. And that will sort of
Mm-hmm.
kind of map out where you're going. One of the things that I find to be true, especially the more successful we become in life, the more abundant opportunities are to us. We have more things that we can say yes to, more people that want to do business with us, more people that want us to come and speak on their stages, more people that want us to be engaged in what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And all of these things, what I see with my clients, all of these things are in the peripheral realm of our soul purpose. But if we aren't clear in that purpose part of where we're focusing the vision and the life plan and the goals, our soul purpose can be a form of distraction.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it can really cost us and lead to that kind of sense of, bankruptcy and destruction that I talk about.
Yeah, totally. That totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What was your journey like finding your soul purpose and actually finding other people's soul purpose?
Well, those are two different journeys. Well, actually, but part of the same. But yeah, my soul purpose journey was one of, I learned the hard way about how soul purpose can lead you to financial ruin. And that was definitely my path. I mean, I was a big yogi, and I, had this idea that I just wanted to just teach yoga and own a yoga studio. And so I just went balls out with that. I also
Mm-hmm.
thought of, so I just invested everything in this yoga studio, didn't do enough research, didn't align my passion for yoga with best business and best financial practices.
Mm-hmm.
I would have, knowing now, if I would have known then what I know now, I would have had a much better chance of succeeding even in that yoga studio, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but, I definitely think that everything along that journey, one of the things that I always say too, if you keep following the breadcrumbs of your soul purpose and you keep investing in yourself and learning about best business and best financial practices, which is a part of the journey, eventually it begins to pay off. Right. And so,
Mm-hmm.
I learned the hard way. But that sometimes those hard lessons really wake you up. And that's what happened to me. I was fortunate enough to find Wealth Factory at that time and got to learn so much about how the energy of money is such a powerful ally in
Mm-hmm.
getting to demonstrate and create value within the realms of our soul purpose. It's essential. And if you think it's not, then your soul purpose is going to bankrupt you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So that for me, once I started to really educate myself and learn how to work with the energy of money and let it be a tool to fuel my soul purpose offerings, that's when I got to really expand in what I was doing and what I was offering and how I'm creating value. And that's just kind of led me along the soul purpose path. And as a part of that, I coach and help people discover their soul purpose and do that, which is very fulfilling to me. It's very rewarding. The other thing I want to say about soul purpose is it's not a stagnant thing.
Okay.
A lot of people think that it is it's SOLE purpose. It's this one thing, like Mother Teresa knew her soul purpose and Gandhi knew his soul purpose and Martin Luther King, their soul purpose. And what is my soul purpose? And I hear that a lot. And,
Mm-hmm.
I talk about it in terms as an SOUL purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And that our souls are they're abundant, they're full. It's many things. It's, for me, my soul purpose is being a phenomenal mother and a phenomenal coach and being financially successful and a contributor to my community and a smart, and a successful business owner. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot and well-traveled and well-educated. There's a lot of things that are important to me that are a part of my soul purpose. And it's not stagnant. So it's not that, I wanted to reach this certain level in my coaching career and then I'm done. No, your soul purpose is one of the ways
I know, done, right?
Yes. Your soul purpose is here to nudge you throughout the course of your life towards growth, evolution, and greatness. So,
Awesome.
and this is something I find with my clients quite often. Sometimes clients will come to me and they'll say, I've invested many years and hundreds of thousands of dollars in my career. And this used to be my sole purpose. I used to be excited to wake up in the morning and go to work, but now I find I have the dreads. I dread going into the office. I want to sleep in. I'm no longer happy and fulfilled in my work. And this is no longer my sole purpose. And I find that 9 times out of 10, Lucas, it's so fun for me because when they say that, what I know secretly is the whole purpose is trying to seek their attention. And this is how your soul purpose seeks your attention. It's much like this. If you take your index finger and your middle finger and you start tapping at your chest like 100 times a minute, this is how our soul purpose speaks to us. It's very quiet, but it's persistent.
Yeah. It's consistent.
It's persistent. Yeah. And so here's what happens, but that's not the only voice that's trying to speak to us inside. The other voice that's speaking to us all the time is this voice of monkey mind. It's our primitive brain that is here to keep us safe. And it only knows that we're safe when we're comfortable. And when we go out of our realms of doing something new, it starts chirping away and, fear, doubt, and worry. And the way monkey mind speaks to us is it speaks first and it speaks loudest. And it really drowned out this. And so I find it's really common, for all human beings to experience from one time to another. So when somebody comes to me and says that, the career that once used to fulfill them no longer fulfills them, what I am pretty sure, because about 9 times out of 10, what we discover is that their sole purpose is seeking their attention, but they're not listening to it. And, if you were to walk around in life with constantly this going on, that'd get agitating, right?
Right.
Trying to do anything, you're trying to do your work and you're trying to do this and this is going on, well, of course it's going to be agitating. Of course, everything's going to be a little bit annoying. And what I find is that 9 times out of 10, when I work with somebody, if we discover how is soul purpose, because what soul purpose is asking them is to grow, to do something different.
Yeah.
And mind is saying, that's a crazy idea. Don't go there.
Yeah, don't do it.
So 9 times out of the 10, when I'm working with somebody and we actually look to see how is your soul purpose seeking you to grow? Oh, you want to actually take a month off and go to Italy? Oh, you actually want to buy this piece of property and build a retreat here? When they identify that and create a path towards it, this stops, and all of a sudden the work that was agitating, no, there's energy for it, there's enthusiasm. It's a part of the whole soul purpose plan, and they have energy again. So
Awesome. That totally makes sense.
yeah.
Absolutely. What are some questions that users can ask themselves to start uncovering their soul purpose?
Well, I would start with, starting to produce some clarity. I mean, figure out what your context is going to be. You can borrow mine, who you are, what's important to you, and what you stand for. And then what do you want to do with that, right? You can borrow mine, but you got to have some type of a context or a framework to work with that will produce that clarity. Otherwise, it stays vague. And anytime things are vague, it's very costly, because you're being guided by your soul purpose, whether you realize it or not. But when it's vague, it can cost you, because if you have a sense of, this is what I want, I have a sense that I want to be a coach. Let's just say, I have this soul purpose nudge that I want to be a coach. Well, there's like thousands of different opportunities that I can go work within that realm.
Right.
And if I don't produce clarity of where I'm going, what my vision is, and what my goals are, and what I want to choose, how I want to choose to focus that, then I can leak lots of energy. I can throw my money and my time and my energy in that general direction, hoping something sticks, and it leaks. So the things you need to start asking yourself is, first, what's the context? What's your definition of what soul purpose is? And then you need to go about producing certainty and clarity around it in a way that you're crystal clear. So it needs to be in writing. Writing is one of the first ways that you can do that.
Right.
That's the framework that I like to use, is being really clear on who you really are, what's most important to you, and what you stand for and why. I do find a lot of value working with somebody else in discovering this, because one of the other things that is also true about soul purpose is your soul purpose lives in your heart and your soul. And that's associated to your limbic brain. Your limbic brain does not have words or language for it. Okay? So, Lucas, if I were to ask you, why do you do what you do? Can you feel like a power of emotion, this emotion so much more powerfully than you can speak it and articulate it?
Yeah, for sure.
Right. And that's true for everybody, unless they've workshopped it through. The reason being is because why you do what you do, your soul purpose, it lives in your limbic brain. And that's where your emotions are, your feeling. That's where we're guided in our life, through that limbic process, but it doesn't have words and language. So a lot of times when, if you're just asked, why do you do what you do, or what are you the most passionate about? It comes out like this. Because I really want to help people. Right.
Right.
So I find that if you can work with somebody else to kind of help pull your limbic phrases out and kind of craft some statements that are powerful to you, it's really useful. I do have processes that I take people through, but just kind of putting some thoughts to it. And I think one of the most simple things that you can do is writing. And, if you have a buddy, if you have a coach, working with a coach is great. Somebody who actually is skilled in helping people craft these kind of statements, that would be great. But writing does help produce that clarity and help you kind of craft through what that is. So. Perfect.
Are there any final tips that you can give our users?
Start to know what you're most interested in. What are you most passionate about? One of the questions that has been a navigating compass for me in my life that a coach gave me years ago, and I love this question. It's, what am I the most interested in right now? What has my attention? And follow that, and don't follow that blindly. I'm really, really interested in making a lot of money now. And there's so many different opportunities to do that. So it's like, but what is really interesting to you? What do you find what are the books you can't put down?
Right.
And just pay attention to that. And always ask yourself, just throughout the course of your life, constantly ask yourself that. And then, I can't stress enough the importance of clarity and things being written down.
Yeah.
Because the process of things being written down produces, anytime you put something in writing, it takes it from this nebulous, realm of the brain to a more, it's kind of sinking the hemispheres of the brain just a little bit. And the outcome is greater clarity. And so
Awesome.
I think in this process, if you can just kind of write it down, work with another person, say it out loud to another person, get feedback, will really be useful. So.
Awesome. Sounds good. Well, thank you, Demi. Thank you. I think you have other places to go. So thank you so much again. And I look forward to the next time we speak.
Hey, sounds great. Thanks, Lucas.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.